FX presents the Indoob podcast with your host, T. Sterling Watson.
Good morning, Indoobians. I'm T. Sterling Watson, and this is the Indoob podcast. And I'm just going to get into it. This is going to be a very short episode just to say, hey, how are y'all doing? But also, we're going to go on a little bit of a hiatus, and reasons will become known shortly as we're going to take a quick little break after I kind of explain what's going on, and you'll get a fuller story as to why we're going on hiatus. We'll be back in like middle of November, more or less. But long story short, my beloved co-host and one of my dearest friends, Courtney, has a bit of an announcement to make. So while we kind of like take a break so she can do what she needs to do and prepare, more or less, I also need a bit of a break because there's so much happening at ESPN these days with like playoffs and other sports doing their sporting and such. It's been a lot. So as I've always told people that want to get into the podcasting game, that always make sure you take care of life first. Podcasting comes second. I know that some people like podcasting is their life. That's different. If that's your bread and butter, that's your paycheck, then by all means, power through. But if there's so much life happening that you really just need to take a break to do what life requires you to do, then, take that break. And I'm just doing the courtesy of letting my good friends and fans and fellow Indoobians know that we will be right back. We try to record episodes in advance and have like some episodes banked so that way we can just post those rather than have a break. But, sometimes we just kind of need a break. And even me just editing and posting together a pre-recorded episode, sometimes it even takes too much time for that to do. So for me, for purposes of this show, it's actually just easier for me to just come in and say, hey, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back in like a month. Really, that's what it comes down to. But hey, we're also going to try to record some special, not full-on episodes, but like specials, little indoobits, if you will. Wow, that's a great term. I should write that down, indoobits. Anyway, we're going to record some other things. I'll also try my best to record some things over at Love Blurds because, hey, Ashley and I are still doing stuff. We watch things all the time, and we mean to just sit down and record what it is that we've seen and kind of talk about that. So hopefully we'll be doing a bit more of that. We were supposed to be, but life is always currently happening. And like I said before, you just got to take life by the horns and hold on the best you can. But hey, all good things. So we're not taking a break because anything bad is happening. It's actually great things. So without further ado, I'm just letting you guys know this is what's happening. Please be sure to reach out to us, indoobpod@gmail.com, and, say hey, say hi. Have your questions, your spookum stories. There's a whole bunch of things that we'd love to get into and chat with you about, and questions you might have that maybe want answers. And we're here for you. Just not for the next month. But hey, that's what I'm saying. Fill up our mailbag so that way we have stuff to respond to, and we can't wait to hop back in our respective studios and chat with you and catch you up on what's been happening with us at this point or at the later point, whenever we get back, what's been happening with us in the last month. But yeah, let's get on with the show. Thanks so much.
The Indoob podcast.
And good morning, Indoobians. This is a special edition episode podcast thingy-a-bobber or whatever. Those were words. You can quote me on that.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing today, Courtney?
I'm doing fabulous. How are you?
I'm doing spectacular.
Awesome.
So, yes, there has been earth-shattering breaking news to the fact that I will do the breaking news bit this time, if you don't mind.
I was just about to do it, but please be my guest.
Because you're the one with the news. So, please hold as I Oops, I'm sorry. That was ESPN. Let me back up. Let me try that again. Beep, 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 boom, bum, 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 bum. I don't know, but hey, breaking
I don't
news.
think that's it, but that's okay.
Well, it was like there's a fire, but
Oh,
it's a fire that's burning in your heart. How about that?
right.
See, I'm setting you up for like, for the
The
explosives and
announcement.
like boom, boom, bang, crash. Yeah, they didn't hire me for Foley work, but I'm still trying to earn my keep. So
Sure.
I'm
That's
practicing.
fair.
I'm practicing. Right? Yeah.
That's fair.
See, that's the crowd in the background there. In the stadiums and such.
I mean, you're not bad at this.
No, okay.
I
Well,
don't
thank
know
you.
that you're. I don't know that you're good at it, but
yeah, I mean, you could have paused at that point and just given me that one flower at least.
You get a little bit of a pedal.
Well, I'll take it and make potpourri out of it. So there you go. So tell us. I mean, I already know the end result, but just just bring us into it. What happened to you? I'll say it was a weekend event. I don't even know. Because I'm like, say no more, or say less, because that's a thing at work right now. But yeah. So what's going on with you?
I am an engaged woman. Yeah, we got engaged. Not this past weekend, but last weekend. So we've been engaged for a week now, and there we go.
Yeah, so
I was
like, wait
waiting
a
on
second.
it.
I'm about to say I have an app. I'm like, where? Just get that out. Okay. You've been. I mean, is your hand heavy? I'm assuming it must
My
be.
hand is heavy and icy. Okay.
I've seen the picture, and it's just frigid. Ooh.
Yeah, just nothing but ice.
Mm-hmm. You got, and I know you wear corrective lenses, which do they, when sunlight or light hits them, they do transition, or you just have regular glasses?
I have regular glasses, and I'm very sad. Side note, because I lost my shades. Like I had some shades that like slip over them, and I lost them.
So it's been hard
on
to
this trick. Yeah, it's been hard to look at them at my ring. So
right.
it's cool though. It's cool. It's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
Okay, all right. Well, how did this come to be? Like, what? Walk me down, not the aisle, because that's another thing. But paint the picture. Tell the story. How did it happen?
So we had planned to go out of town to a tiny little city about 2 or 2.5 hours away, because I asked him months ago, so what you want to do for your birthday? He's like, I want to go to a castle. I said, oh, okay, cool. So we got to look and found one, and it's in a tiny little town. Like there's not much there. Okay, so the whole as we're getting, and I didn't really realize this until closer to the actual trip. So I am like, okay, where are we gonna eat? What are we gonna do in this tiny town other than go to the castle? So which was on Airbnb, and we just booked it that way. But we both just kind of did some searching and found out that it's apparently like the largest crystal quartz mine I don't know about in Arkansas, because there's a lot of them here, or if it's the largest in the US. I'm not sure, but it is a pretty big crystal mine. And apparently, and I say mine, it's not like, for some reason I was thinking cave. It's not a cave. It's
okay,
like
I
a
was
mine.
thinking cave.
It's like just land that it has trees and stuff, and it's just like a lot of like almost like a forest, but mostly dirt on the ground instead of like moss or greenery or whatever. But the crystals are so plentiful there that you literally can kind of stand in the sun and see, stand in the sunlight a certain way, and you can see shimmering on the ground. And so they're just everywhere. Now, the big ones and the really good ones, you most likely have to dig for. And so we purchased basically tickets to this tour, and we both kind of found it around the same time, or at least I thought we did, because I saw it months ago, And I was like, oh, okay, well, we got time to kind of decide. And then I forgot about it. And then closer to the trip, we were sitting down talking about what we might want to do. We never really like to just plan our trips hour by hour. That's kind of lame. But
Right.
we were like, yeah, we need to find something to do. You know, we'll be there all weekend, find something to do. And then he mentioned a crystal mine, the same crystal mine that I had found before. And then I was like, oh, no kidding. Like, I found this before and I forgot to mention it. So glad we're on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
So book the tickets, yada, yada. So we just kind of hang out for a while. We go down into the city on Friday, hang out for a bit, and then Saturday morning is when we were to do the crystal mine. So we get ready, wake up, get ready, and go to the mines. So the tour is very interesting because apparently it's a site of like paranormal activity.
Of course.
We were very, very close to getting tickets for that. But I don't know, they wanted a grip for it. So we're like, I don't know about this. That's a lot because the tickets to do the mine were a little steep. So
wait, these would be 2 sets of tickets then, or
yeah, we'd have to purchase a second set of tickets for the paranormal tour or whatever. So I don't know about that. That seems like a bit much. And I'm glad we didn't because it ended up raining that night. So yeah, we would have been outside and wet. So
but I mean, I feel like if it being rainy, that would just encourage the spookums, enhance it.
Probably.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably.
Just a thought. Just
probably.
A thought. Continue.
And apparently there was a Bigfoot convention happening
Oh.
that weekend as well that we almost went to. We're not really Bigfoot enthusiasts though. It would have been fun to go, but we ended up not. And because apparently the Ozark Mountains are really prominent through that area. In fact, we had to drive through the mountains a couple of times. So anyway, it's just like a good place for folks who believe and folks who want to see the Bigfoot, want to see the supernatural. That's where they go. We did not go though, not this time. But so we're at the crystal mine and we get the rundown of all the do's and the don'ts, the legalese type stuff, the waivers, all this kind of stuff. So we go up. Then our tour guide meets us up there and she gives us kind of the rundown of how crystals are made, what they look like, because they don't look, crystals directly from the earth don't really look like what you see like in a crystal shop. They're not always polished, and sometimes they need to be bleached for you to see like the shine and all that. So these are natural crystals. And so I don't know, we're just getting the rundown of that. A lot of the stuff I learned, some of it I already knew. So it's just neat. So we go and then we're out there. We purchased it. I mean, the slot that we had was like, I don't know, 4 hours maybe. And I was like, that's a long time. You think we're going to be out here the whole time? Because about 20 minutes in, I'm like, okay, this is harder than I thought. This is a lot of hard work. We didn't bring enough water or enough snacks. So I'm just like, okay, how are we going to, how long are we going to, I can't complain.
They have you mining though?
Yeah, you're out there mining. You're digging in the dirt. You're in the ground. You've got like picks and just various tools to help you get to the thing. And it's pretty cool. We found some good ones. And like, even there were so many though, that like our neighbors, there was a couple next to us, they ended up leaving, but gave some of us their stuffs. Their crystals. Cause they were like, yeah, we've got a lot. We're good. So it's just like, there was so much. So we racked up a whole lot. And so after a while, like I had like literally one bottle of water that we were sharing and rationing out to each other. And so after a while, I was like, okay, can we take a break? Because we had also eaten right before. So I had like a lemonade in the car. So I was like, maybe it'll not be watered down and won't be hot and stuff. And sure enough, it wasn't. Okay. So we had a little drink, had a little break. It was nice to kind of not be in the dirt for a minute.
Right.
And then we knew that their part of the land is so big, and we knew that there was this other wooded area that also had a part of the mine. Because one of somebody else that was there that day, they kept saying, "Yeah, I was over at the other mine. I was just exploring, seeing what I can find, and blah blah blah." And I was like, "Oh, there's another mine, okay." Because apparently, like I said, it's huge. It's a huge. It's just a huge property, and yeah. So we ended up seeing like kind of a trail where like close to the parking lot where we were in, and he was like, well, hey, well, let's go check it out. So I was like, yeah, I would like to see this other part of the mine and see if we can find something there. So sure enough, we walked down, and it's just nice. It's nice and peaceful. It's more like better shaded than the other side, or there than the other part of the mine that we were in. So we were able to, just really cool off and just be in silence. We didn't hear other people chitter chattering or their tools hitting the earth. It was just peaceful and quiet. And so we did find a spot where other folks had dug. And so we decided to just kind of look around. It was like, well, maybe they missed something, because that does happen where you miss, you're digging and you're so intent and you miss the mine or the crystals that are kind of right there in front of you. So we found this one spot, and I immediately, well, after doing a little bit of light digging, because we didn't have our tools or anything, it's just our hands and stuff. But after a little bit of light digging, I was able to kind of slide some of the dirt out of the way, and I saw this little bitty tiny crystal, and I was like, I've got a lot of crystals this size already. I don't need to pick this one up too. So I just kind of tossed it back down. But apparently he didn't see that one, or maybe he did see me toss it down. But like a couple minutes later, he picked it back up and he handed it to me. He was like, "Oh, look at this one. This is neat." And I was like, "Yeah, it's cool." And instead of tossing it down this time, I was like, "Okay, well, he gave it to me. Okay, let me just hold on to it for a minute at least." I don't know where that crystal is right now. Don't tell him that, but I held on to it for a while.
Right.
And then next thing I know, he was like, "Well, hey, what about this rock?" And so I whip around, and he's got my ring in his hands, in the palm of his hand. And then I noticed this guy's on bended knee. And I was like, what? Now let me back up just a bit. Okay. I'm even more surprised at this point, because on the way to Mina, the city that we went to, we had a discussion. Somehow it came up, and I was like, yeah, I think you're gonna do it this weekend. I think you're gonna propose. Because all this week we had to rearrange some things, like with the kids. We had to, do some things with our jobs. We had to kind of rearrange some things to make this trip as smooth as possible. And but in a good way, because it all worked out. And he kept saying, well, the stars are aligning. Like it was a new moon this weekend. It was his birthday this weekend. It was just a bunch of things that really did line up. Right. So I'm like, oh, okay. I think he might be ready. I think this might be the weekend. I think he's gonna do it, because he's been, we've been talking about it. Clearly, he's had the ring for a while. I know this.
Right. And you told me when he got the ring, and I'm like, yes. Is this it? It's like, no, it's not it. But like, still, I'm like, yeah. You told me all about that, so I'm like, yeah, I've been waiting patiently.
Well, and so have I, because it's been about a month or two, if I remember correctly. I'm not sure, but it's been a while, so I know it's been there, and I keep, just been like, when is it gonna be? And so I know that he also told the kids, and so they did really well with keeping the surprise, but they're not super. They've slipped up a couple times, because I don't think they knew I knew. But
that he even had the ring.
No, they saw it and everything. They saw it, and he's, told them, because he's been checking in with them, making sure that they're okay with everything, making sure if they have any questions or whatever, that he can answer them. Just preparing them as well, just checking in with them throughout this whole process. But so when the ring came, he, showed them and kept checking in with them, and then I guess he finally told them when it was. Now I didn't know when he was going to propose, but because of their reactions to things, like they would slip up every now and then kind of I would barely hear it, and then I would be like, "What you say?" And then they would say, "Oh, no, oh, nothing, nothing," or they would give their dad like a knowing look or whatever
Right, right.
if he said a particular thing. So I knew something was up.
Grinning extra
Um,
hard and just like,
exactly, exactly.
can't
So
tell
it
y'all
was like
nothing.
stuff like that. Uh-huh. But they never actually outright said anything. And
Mm.
if I wasn't, I guess, so observant, I probably would have missed it. I would
Mm-hmm.
have thought that they were just being silly or whatever. But no, they were keeping the secret. And so that on that like on the way up to the city, I was like, I think you're gonna do it. And so this man told me, he was like, I left the ring box at home. I haven't even talked to your dad yet, because he knew that I wanted him to talk with both of my parents beforehand. Um, I there's just things that I wanted him to do before he asked.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically said, no, I haven't done it. I haven't done that. I left the ring box at home. And so I'm like, what? Okay, I'm having a crisis over here. Little bit of disappointment, because I just knew that I got it this time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I knew that I had caught the signs, and then I kept thinking, this is the perfect time. What is he waiting on? What is it? Did he not plan this? Did he not? What is going on? So I'm
Little did,
disappointed.
right.
And I'm a little bit mad at him. Like, okay, you have to think things through. This is kind of important. Like, what are you doing? And so when he fast forward to the next day, when he popped the ring out and popped the question, instead of answering him, I looked at it, and then I looked at him, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? Are you serious? Are you kidding me? For real? Are you kidding me?" He's like, "No,
Hmm.
I'm serious. Will you marry me?" And then I don't think I still answered for a minute, because I'm
Wow.
just like, I'm more shocked that yes, he's asking me, but I was also in shock, maybe just as much so, that he actually tricked me.
Mm.
He actually got me.
Mm-hmm.
Later on, he would tell me that he fully anticipated me figuring it out. And so what he told me was his plan B for
Okay.
if I figured it out, that he would tell me that he left the ring box, because he did leave the box. He just
That
brought the
was not a
ring.
lie, right?
That wasn't a lie. Now, he did lie about my dad, because he did ask my dad. Apparently, he asked the day before, but that counts. So
Mm-hmm.
he did ask for my dad's blessing, which he got, and yeah, so he pulled it off very well. I was shocked and surprised and super happy.
Hmm.
So then after that, we went back to the original mine for just a minute, and after by then we were both kind of done, because it had been like 3 hours that we were out there, so we were kind of
Right.
done.
I mean, and the highlight
But
of the trip, or at least that adventure, had finally happened. So, like,
exactly,
it's like, yeah, this is the real purpose we're out here. Other than
yeah,
bonding
we
and
did want to
mining.
do. Well, we did want to actually mine, but
Right.
we had done the biggest thing we wanted to do, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
for him too. So yeah, we after that we told the owner of the mine, and she was very excited for us, and it was
Mm.
great because she took pictures for her Facebook,
Oh.
because apparently we're the first, for the mine's like Facebook or whatever. But it worked out, because otherwise we wouldn't have, like, I guess, engagement pictures, even though, and I was like, I was very thankful that he did not do this publicly or around anybody, because that's not what
That's.
I would want.
I mean, so that was part of my question too. If there's anybody
Yeah,
there, but it's
no,
clearly, yeah.
no, we
Oh.
celebrated, I guess, afterwards, but got some decent pictures. And honestly, that's the way I would have. I wouldn't have had it any other way if I'd planned it myself. So
Right, right. Like, no big spectacles. I mean, you also
no,
you also got to know the person too, because
yeah,
there's
because sometimes the big spectacle works for the person, and they love that, and they thrive off of that. Me, no, don't want
right.
that.
And
Didn't want that.
there's also that thing, and I actually have to thank Twitter for this, but like, just making sure that, like, hey, are you guys on the same page? Do you want to get married?
Yeah, yeah.
Because
That's how people
there's
get embarrassed.
exactly, there's nothing like popping the question, like, oh, this is not, I no,
I
no,
don't
and then you
want
run
this.
away,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then there's shame, and then there's all these people with
yeah,
camera phones that are like, hey, look at this
yeah,
dude. Yeah. So
yeah. That was not our situation. Even if he had asked me publicly, well, I've told him, I was like, yeah, if you had done this publicly, I don't know what I would have said. Probably would have said yes and then like fussed at him later. I don't know.
Right. I think
Fortunately,
that's probably what would happen. You're
yeah.
even right there. You're just like, yes, but like, how dare you start beating up on him or something?
Right. Yeah. But fortunately, that wasn't the case. And so, then we got to celebrate privately. We got to celebrate with the owner of the 9 place.
Right.
We like went and got an icy and then went up into the mountains. It was great.
Nice.
So yeah, that's the story.
Well, congratulations yet again.
Thank you.
I can hear you looking at your ring. That's crazy.
I mean, you can't miss it.
No. And I've seen the pictures. I don't know if you've shared them elsewhere, but it's really bigger than your face. So
it's not that big.
It's up there. Well, I appreciate you holding on to the story to tell me now, and also sharing with our dear Indoobian family, because yes, they're family. So yeah, and I'm very happy for you.
Thank you.
So yes, and that'll do it for this little segment, because we just this was all about you, Courtney. So that's all this little segment was all about you, and we wanted to make sure that we took the time to hear about one of the happiest days, or I'm assuming it's happiest moments in your life. And so
it was perfect.
Great. I mean, I couldn't be more happy for you. So great. And then the big day is soon to come, and
yes,
that'll be another day, another story, and we'll probably what's the word, like basically set up some time for you to tell the story of that day, because more than likely it will be a story. So
probably
oh yeah, it will be, because I mean, everybody has one, and then there's always like several sides to that story, but it's really your side that we're looking to hear, and we're going to be waiting for that day, for that story, basically.
Yes. Well, I got one for you. Now it'll be better closer to the day, I'm sure.
It'll be a great day for sure.
Yes. I hope so.
Thanks for listening to the Indoob podcast, which was recorded from the south side of Wakanda in Little New Indoobia on the corner of T'Chaka and MLK Drive, and is part of the Indoob network. Want more Indoob? Follow on Instagram and Twitter @Indoob, and on Facebook @IndoobPod. You can contact us and send Ask Indoob questions by emailing indoobpod@gmail.com. Want to support or donate? Find the T Public Store or become a patron on Patreon, where subscribing gives you perks and extra things from the Indoob network. Please subscribe, rate, comment, and share the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube, Podbean, and wherever else podcasts are found. And of course, visit indoob.com for all of this and much more. Thank you so much for letting us entertain, enlighten, and provide an auditory escape with knowledge and nonsense. Until next time.
Use your words, Chief. Good boy.
This has been another 3SFX production.